everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 215. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from and I live, and as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about those things with me. And I just want to give a quick thank you to anyone who showed up to my trunk show at Do You Knit this past weekend. It was a lot of fun, and words cannot describe how thankful and grateful I am that you showed up to support me and buy some yarn or just even hang out. And I met a lot of new people, some familiar faces and new faces, and it was just a really, really wonderful time. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Karen, who owns Do You Knit. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you so much again for having me, and I cannot wait to do it again. So yeah, I probably should mention that we do have a YarnGasm Ravelry group, which you should totally join if you want to partake in any knit-alongs that we're doing, or just general chatter about every podcast. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm most active on Instagram, where you can find me at Voolenvine, which is Voolenvine. I'll put all that information in the down bar. And if you would like to check out the show notes for every episode, those can also be found at YarnGasmPodcast.com. And I think that is it for pretty much like admin announcements and whatnot. So I'm going to try and keep this a very quick episode, only because I'm trying to take today off, but I figured I'm not going to get another episode in this week because I'm recording early. It's Wednesday, but here in the States, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and then Dennis and I are pretty much not going to be around until the weekend, so it's going to be kind of like a discombobulated rest of the week. So I figured I would just get a little quick episode in before we get on with the festivities for the rest of the week. So yeah, anyway, I have several finished objects to share with you, which is surprising because how often does that happen? And it's not just a pair of socks. But since we're on the topic of socks, or since I said socks, I guess I'll show you my finished socks that I have for this week. These are the Mercury socks, a pattern by, I have show notes, so I should probably check those. The Mercury socks by Kim Jortar, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Here they are. And the yarn is skein yarn in her top drawer sock yarn in the Moroccan mint colorway. And I have to tell you guys, this is my new favorite pattern. I want to knit, I don't know how many more pairs of these, but these practically knit themselves. They flew off the needles. I think I knit the entire pair within a week. The first sock was done within 3 days, and then I cast on the second sock immediately, so no second sock syndrome here. But I was actually inspired to cast these on after watching Creative Musings, hosted by Casey. She was knitting a pair for the Pin Feathers and Pearls Socks in Space knit along, and I just fell in love with the sock pattern itself when she showed it off on her podcast, and I was like, I have to cast on a pair myself. So cast them on I did, and I am, again, I'm in love, I'm smitten with this pattern, and like I said, I can knit like 10 more pairs. My sock blockers are getting all wonky, but the yarn, I love this yarn so much. I don't know, it's just a simple, it's nothing fancy. It's superwash merino and nylon, I believe. I lost the label, it's around here somewhere, but is it over there? Hang on a second. I found the label! It was hiding behind my computer screen over there, but yeah, her top draw sock, I should say, is a 4-ply fingering weight yarn, 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon, and there's like 437 yards and 400 meters per skein, and it is just, it has to be one of the softest sock yarns I've ever knit with. And I knit a pair out of in another colorway for Dennis, and he loves those socks. He's not a huge fan of socks that are kind of like toothy, kind of like BFL. He really loves wearing these socks made out of this yarn. So, and I have to admit, it's just such a lovely sock base. So I definitely see more skein yarn in my future. Maybe I'll have to ask some for Christmas, or just treat myself to some for Christmas. I don't know. But yeah, so very, very happy with the way these turned out. And the colorway is just, I love this colorway so much. I don't know if you can see, but it has just these little subtle flecks of rust in there. And yeah, I've just got to take some proper photos and get them up on Ravelry. I don't know about you guys, but I've been really slacking on getting photos up on Ravelry, just logging my projects because life taketh over pretty much. But yeah, so and in case you're curious, because I always get asked about this, my sock blockers, these are Bryson. They're just metal, yeah, sock blockers. And what I like about these is that if you are into blocking your socks, which you don't have to do, it just makes them all nice and presentable, like showing them off on a podcast or gifting them to somebody. It just, because they're I guess hollow on the inside, or there's nothing here, it lets the air pass through, enabling them to dry a lot faster than some of the wooden ones that I've shown off on the podcast previously. But yay, another pair of socks for my box of socks, which is a year-long knit-along, which is quickly coming to a close on January 1st, 2017. But this is my 8th pair of socks, 8 out of 12 pairs, which is 12 pairs is the minimum. So, but you can knit as many as you want, but 12 pairs to qualify for winning a prize on for the knit along. So yay, that's done. And yes, just not to go on and on and on about this, but people have been asking me if I will be hosting another box of socks knit along in 2017, and the answer is absolutely. It has just been so fun to keep up with everyone's progress in the thread and everything. It's just, as I say every time, you know, just check that thread. If you need any motivation to knit a pair of socks or learn to knit a pair of socks, just check that thread out. There are just so many patterns and beautiful socks being knit there. So, of course, yes, I am going to be hosting a second season, I guess, or a second round of the Box of Socks knit along, Box of Socks KAL. So, yay, awesome. My second finished object, do I want to show this first, or maybe I'll show this one last. But when I went to, when I did my trunk show at Do You Knit, Karen, as I mentioned, who owns Do You Knit, she had a couple of hat samples. And if you are not familiar with Do You Knit, it's in Westfield, New Jersey, and she has a lot of other wonderful, beautiful yarns there, but I think her main jam is hedgehog fibers. You go there, she's got a whole wall dedicated to hedgehog fibers, and the colorways are just, I don't even think they need an introduction. It's just the colorways are just so beautiful and so like eye-popping and crazy in a good way. But Karen had posted, I remember Rhinebeck Weekend on her Instagram, she posted this hat that she was knitting, and it was just so awesome. Like, you know, it's just this hot pink hat knit out of hedgehog fibers with a beautiful pom-pom on the back. But you know, it looked cool in the photos, but once you saw it in person, she had it there, my jaw just dropped. She goes, you have to try it on. So I tried on the hat, and I almost walked out of the store with it because it was just so cozy, so warm, and just it was so simple too. And she's like, yeah, you know, it's a free pattern that she drew up, but you know, the catch is that, you know, you have to buy the yarn before you get the free pattern. And rightfully so. I think it's a great idea. So I popped the yarn because I couldn't resist. But here's my finished hat. It's not a fancy name. She didn't name it anything crazy, just a simple, what is it, hedgehog fiber bulky hat. And yeah, it's just a simple bulky hat pattern, and basically what it is hedgehog fibers in their Aran weight yarn held double with another strand of their hedgehog fibers kid silk lace base, which is kind of like if you're not familiar with kid silk haze yarn, it's just like a very fine lace, but it has like a huge halo to it. So I bought both bases. I bought a skein of hedgehog fibers in their here's the label, the bramble colorway, and then, which is the main colorway as you can see here. And yeah, it's just it has like shades of mauve, but like pops of purple, hot purple, neon green and orange, like totally out of my comfort zone, but I just really love the way you know, I fell in love with the colorway. And then I also purchased a skein of, here it is. I was gonna save this for stash enhancement, but since I'm talking about the project, I purchased a skein of their kid silk lace base, and it's in their skinny dip colorway. And I thought, like, the colorways together were beautiful. Like this and this together I thought would be amazing. But then I came home and I realized I had a skein of Icho Sensei, which I purchased over the summer at a great yarn in Chatham, Massachusetts, Cape Cod. and I just saw, I put that together with it and I was like, oh my gosh, no, this has to happen. So the cool thing about, well, it looks like a very simple hat pattern. It's very complex, you guys. So I don't know if you can see this, if the camera's gonna pick it up, but when you hold it double with the Aran weight, it just has this really awesome halo effect. I don't know if you can see this, but it's gorgeous. So, and yeah, of course I had a purple pom-pom that I was going to use for my quadri hat, but seeing these colors together, I was just like, it has to happen. So yeah, let me try it on. I wore this out yesterday to run some errands, and I love this so much. Although I am tempted to just, I'm thinking, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking that my mom would really love it for Christmas. So I don't know if she's watching. I don't think she watches the podcast, but if you're watching, you're getting this hat, you know, because I don't know, for some reason it just has her name all over it. So, but I could totally see myself knitting another one because it was so quick. I cast this on the night I got home from the trunk show and I was done the next day. So yeah, it just goes to show you how quick knit it is and how great of a gift it would make for anybody. So yeah, so I had a lot of fun knitting this, and now I have hat hair. I don't have magic hair like Sharon from the Knit Style podcast. She did an episode where it was called Magic Hair. So she can put any hat on her, and then when she takes it off, her hair just goes back to the way it was. I don't have that kind of hair. I have crazy thin, fine, mold to whatever shape you want to put. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. But anyway, I love this hat. I don't know, I'll see if my mom actually really enjoys it, and if not, I'll just keep it. But anyway, like I said, people are actually going to get Christmas gifts this year. It's crazy. So yay, another project done, finished object. And then today, right before I recorded, I wanted to finish this before I recorded so I could show you guys. It's not blocked, but this is my Pebble Beach shawl. It is done, it is finished, and I am so in love with this. It's gonna be hard to give it away because, well, as I was knitting this, I thought my grandmother would really, really appreciate it. And this is the Pebble Beach shawl by Helen Stewart, and the yarn is Dragonfly Fibers in their gradient set. And I forget the colorway name altogether. I don't even know if I have the pack that it came in anymore, but it's their dragon, I think they're dragon base? I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just this beautiful, just green gradient. And my grandmother is a huge fan of green. So of course I'm just like, this has to go to her. But I don't know, because the last couple of scarves or shawls that I knit for her, there were like long rectangular shawls, and she's a huge fan of those. And I know for a fact she's not a fan of triangular shawls. But she never said anything about crescent shawls. So I will give this to her. If she's not a fan, then I will gladly keep it. So, but as I mentioned last week, I was playing a pretty good game of Yarn Chicken. I kind of knew going in I would be playing a game of Yarn Chicken because the pattern, this is the medium size. I believe the pattern comes in 3 different sizes. There's a small, medium, and a large, and I knit the medium. And I realized, like, as I was on, I think I had like 2 or 3 more rows to go before binding off, and then I thought I was going to make it, and then as I was binding off in the final colorway, the final mini skein, which you can see here, it's light color, I was binding off doing the picot edge, and I realized about maybe 25% into it I wasn't gonna make it. So I ripped it out and started again with oh goodness, where did it go? It's on the floor, hang on. So I had this skein in my stash from Owl. It's in their Barn Owl colorway in their O-Wash base, which is very similar. I believe it's 2-ply superwash merino, and the yarn, obviously, that I was using from Dragonfly Fibers is superwash merino as well, with nylon in it. I'm not sure if the Owl has nylon in it. I lost the tag, but I'm pretty sure it does not. It is a little softer than the Dragonfly Fiber yarn, which, as I mentioned when I first cast this on, it does have a bit of a stiff hand. It's not the softest, but I'm hoping when I block it, it'll just relax a little bit and loosen up. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. But I'm actually really happy that I ran out of yarn with the Dragonfly Fibers, because I think this picot edging in the white just makes it. It's just my personal opinion. I think it just goes so well, especially because it's an off-white. It's not like a pure white, it's an off-white, but with like a green undertone to it. And I'm just so happy with the way it turned out. So yay, this will be blocked, and maybe I'll just wear it once tomorrow for Thanksgiving, which I'll talk a little bit more about in Blather. But yeah, Dennis and I are going down to visit his brother-in-law's wife and the kids, our niece and nephew, for Thanksgiving. So that should be a lot of fun. But again, I'll talk about more of that in Blather. So yeah, anyway, it's done. And yeah, it's like once it blocks, I think it's gonna just stretch out a little bit more, but I love this so much. Okay, and I still have to weave in the end. So yeah, not 100% done, but I consider it an FO. And this was part of Nina's Stash Miss KAL that she's currently hosting. Nina from the This Old Knit podcast, who, by the way, I forgot to mention at the top of the episode. I was talking with Nina from the This Old Knit podcast, and we both want to knit the honey pullover, which is it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's a simple long sleeve pullover with it's very stripy, and then has two really cute little pockets in the like lower front of the sweater, just to kind of like tuck your hands in, something you do with your hands, you know? So yeah, we both decided that yes, we're gonna co-host this knit along for the honey pullover, and it's gonna kick off December 1st and go all the way through March 1st of 2017, and we could not be more excited to cast on because she has some colorways in mind that she wants to make with hers, and then I have some colorways that I want to knit up mine in, and I definitely need a new sweater, especially for Vogue Knitting Live. So yay, I will post, I will start a thread in that in the YarnGasm Ravelry group, so anyone who wants to join in, please do. Double dipping is totally and highly encouraged. And yeah, so anyway, okay, so, but yes, this was for Stash Miss, which is a knit along that she's hosting on her own, for, you know, basically just knit from stash, you know, stuff that's been languishing that you bought eons ago, or, you know, whatever, anything. You don't have to buy new yarn for, basically. So, and yeah, as I mentioned, I purchased this yarn at Vogue Knitting Live earlier this year, last January. So yay. Yeah, so anyway, I think that is it for finished objects. I haven't, honestly, I mean, I have some other projects that I have languishing in, that I'm still kind of working on, but I'm kind of in the mood to cast on some, be naughty and cast on some new projects. Maybe some shawls, I don't know, I'm still tossing around some ideas. There are definitely some shawls that I want to knit by Helen Stewart. I know she has her Alpine, or I'm sorry, her Knit Vent 2016 pattern collection that's currently out that she co-designed with, I'm totally blanking on who she's doing the collaboration with, but anyway, there's a lot of beautiful patterns that are coming out in that. And then there's some by Joji Locatelli that I want to cast on. Stephen West is definitely inching its way into my life, as far as, you know, there are certain patterns that are appealing to me now. And yeah, I'm just trying to think. There are just so many things that I want to cast on. And also I have to announce, see, I'm all over the place this week, but I also forgot to announce that I have kicked off our second annual Ornament Along, which is a knit along that I host every year, where you get to knit ornaments up until, you know, December, I believe December 15th is when the knit along ends. So I've created a group in the Ravelry, the YarnGasm Ravelry group, just knit ornaments. You know, what, you know, it doesn't have to be for Christmas. It doesn't have to be for a Christmas tree. It can be for any holiday occasion, as long as you knit ornaments. And yeah, it's just a fun little knit along, you know, where you get to just knit quick little, yeah, dangly things. So there are a couple of patterns that I really want to knit. I will actually post some suggestions in the thread if you're looking for inspiration, but there are already so many submissions already if you know you are looking for inspiration for what to cast on. I know there's one free pattern that I spotted on Ravelry. It's free, and I'm totally blanking on the name of it. I'll try and post a photo of it here, but if you love brioche, definitely this might be the ornament for you, but it looks like it can be more than just an ornament. It can be a pot holder, you can make it any size, but they're just these beautiful brioche knit stars, and they seem fairly easy. I mean, you know, if you are familiar with brioche, you cast on the edge first and it ends on the inside, so you're not fiddling around with, you know, like what do you call it, Julie's Magic cast on, or, you know, one of those fiddly you know, DPN cast-ons in the middle and work your way out. So I'm already liking this pattern to begin with. But then there's the seahorse pattern that I knit last year. There's always tiny birds of happiness patterns that everyone is always knitting. So yeah, anyway, definitely check out that thread for some suggestions and inspiration. So yes, I'm trying to think what else. All right, so I have some stash enhancement to share with you. So let's get on to that right now, shall we? So yes, okay. As I mentioned, for like the 18th time, I had a trunk show at Unit, and yeah, one does not leave the unit without coming back with, you know, a nice little haul, I should say. So or I feel like any yarn shop that you go to, it's like, you know, you just, why not treat yourself? So while I was trunking there was also another trunk show happening by Toad Hollow. If you're not familiar, they make these beautiful project bags. So here's their logo, and yeah, so Helen and Mary Beth were vending there as well, selling their beautiful handbags. And once, you know, the crowd died down, I, you know, went over to them, introduced myself, and chatted with them for a little bit. And then we decided, you know, to do a little swap. So they let me pick a bag, and I let them pick some yarn from, you know, whatever was left over. But I fell in love with this project bag. I love owls. It's so cute. Yeah, so this one just wanted to come home with me, and here's their logo. Let's see that. Here we go. So I really, really love this bag. It's super sturdy, very well made. And then I don't know if you can see the inside, but it has these beautiful little dragonfly, a cute little dragonfly print on the inside. I really, really love this bag, and it definitely can hold a lot. And so thank you so much, Helen and Mary Beth. It was really nice chatting with you, and yeah, I love their bag. Check them out. I will post a link to their shop in the show notes, or, you know, down below in the down bar. But yes, so when I went to, when there was time for me to actually look around and shop for myself, yes, I came away with some hedgehog fibers, as I showed off, in their kid silk lace in the skinny dip colorway. And then I saw another combination in their skinny singles that I just, again, totally out of my comfort zone, but something about this combination spoke to me. And this is, here it is. Yeah, coral. When do I ever knit with coral? But yeah, this is the Film Noir colorway, which is just this really lovely speckled, it's got like brown speckles, pink speckles, just like a really beautiful, subtle, yeah, it's almost like urchin. I don't know if you remember, but just a little more color pops to it. So I just thought that these two colorways together went so well. But then I came home and I was looking at some options from, you know, my stash or whatever, see what else might go with it, because if you look at some Stephen West patterns and Joji Locatelli patterns, they usually call for about like 2 to 4 skeins, sometimes depending on the pattern. And then I just saw this skein of skinny dipping that I purchased at the Indian Tangle Trunk Show, and I saw these together, and yeah, oh my gosh, I want to knit something with these so badly together, because they're just so beautiful. I love this combination. It's, yeah, this is happening. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's happening together. So yeah. And then I also had this skein that, for my last trunk show at Unit, I purchased a skein of hedgehog fibers in, what is it, the Hush colorway. And I saw these could totally work together, but I'm thinking more so just this, because this green and this coral and just a nice little speckled colorway to break it all up is just wunderbar. So, but yeah, so that was that. And I also purchased some more Chia Gu needles for my hat, because I realized I didn't have a set of, I rarely use any needle sizes above like a US 7 or 8. I don't even know what that is in millimeters because I don't have my gauge in front of me, but you get the idea. So yeah, I had to invest in another pair of US size 10s, which, yes, I have no idea what that is. So anyway, again, metrics. I'm it will be my goal this year to just memorize needle sizes in both US and metric sizes. The correlating metric size for US size needles, if that makes any sense. So that is gonna be my goal. So I will be able to just, you know, when I talk about this stuff, I'll just be able to rattle it off. So, but yeah, but wait, that is not all. I also, while I was vending, I had the lovely opportunity to meet MJ, who is the lovely dyer behind Cat Sandwich Fibers. So she came up to me and, you know, she looked really familiar, but I was like trying to place her, and she just, you know, she said hello, she was buying yarn and everything. So, but then she handed me this and I was like, I know who you are. And I got so excited, and I told her, I said, I have been trying to get a hold of her yarn because I'm getting a taste of my own medicine, you know, when I know people get frustrated when my shop sells out before they can buy anything, because every time I check her shop out, it sells out, or, you know, there are colorways that don't really speak to me, you know. But she so kindly and generously gifted me this really beautiful skein of Cat Sandwich Fibers, and I've been seeing it on podcasts everywhere, and her colorways are just so fun and cheerful and happy. And come on, Cat Sandwich Fibers, you can't beat that name. It's just, let me take it out of the wrapping. That glorious sound of crinkleness, right? Yes, we all love it. Admit it, you love it. Don't plug your ears. I'm kidding. But yeah, here it is. This just makes me so happy, you guys. And this is her trusty sock base in 75/25, blah, 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 I cannot talk. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And it's her Let's Play Video Games colorway. How fun is that? I am smitten with this. So MJ, it was so nice meeting you. Thank you so much for this. This is totally unexpected and unnecessary, but I love it. I love it. So definitely check out her Etsy shop if you get the chance. And again, links in the show notes. So yeah, I think that was my gluttonous haul from D-Unit, and yeah, I'm just so pleased with my purchases, and stay tuned for what I cast on with those lovely skeins that I just showed off. So yeah, okay, it's a lot of talking. I'm gonna take a tea break, but I gotta show you this tea mug that I purchased for myself just because it's awesome. Yeah, I got this on Etsy and I posted about it on Instagram, and people wanted to know where I found it from, and I will post a link to it in the show notes. But this is my new favorite mug. It says, "Go away, I'm introverting," because I introvert. Quite frankly, I introvert quite a lot. And I said quite a bit just now. But anyway, yeah, I'm a self-professed introvert. I love socializing, I love meeting people and chatting and everything, but I realize like it actually zaps energy for me. So once it's all said and done, it's like I come home and then I need quietness. I just need to I need alone time and to unwind, just to knit. And yeah, so I am an introvert. I'm proud of it. So yeah, there are just those days when I need to recharge and say stuff like this. So yeah. Today's not really one of those days, but I still love the mug. But anyway, I am drinking Coffee Cake by David's Teas, which, here's the thing. I don't know if you can see this, but I just created a little tea nook for myself. I will pan over so you can see, but I have I moved my electric teapot to this little cubby hole right here, so I just keep all of my teas in there, and then I have like an outlet in the, you know, behind, and then whenever I'm making tea, I just fill up the pot, put it there, and turn the plug on, and I have a little tea nook, and I love it. But let me move this back to where it was. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I am drinking Coffee Cake by David's Tea, and it really, really does taste like coffee cake. I love this so much. It is one of my newest favorite flavors, and it's a black tea, which is rare, because I don't know if you recall, but like a while back I talked about how I prefer herbal teas to black teas, because if I have not eaten anything that day yet, like in the morning especially, if I haven't eaten breakfast yet and I have black tea, the acid kind of makes me a little sick. I don't know if anyone else has the same problem, but black teas generally make me nauseous in the morning. So morning tea sickness, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, it's just a thing that I do. So if I have to eat first before I drink black tea, otherwise my stomach just feels very unsettled. But it's very good. So yeah, highly recommend it if you're on the prowl for some new tea. And yeah, it's so yummy. It actually tastes like coffee cake. I can't, yeah, there are no words. Okay, so moving along to sewing. As you can see, my sewing mojo came back. I was kind of in a little sewing slump a couple of weeks ago, but it has returned. I believe the night before the trunk show, I just said, you know, I haven't sewn in a while and I want to make something, and I have this fabric that I ordered. It's Ashley, who's Ashley? Actually, it's actually, I'm getting there, guys. It's actually the Gashly's collection by Alexander Henry. If you go to fabric.com, or I purchased it on fabric.com, but there is a collection by Alexander Henry called the Gastlys. And this is one of the prints from that collection. And it's just, I don't know if you can see it, but it's, I'll give you a close up in a little bit, but it's basically spider webs, and then there are moths and butterflies and flies like trapped in there. It sounds kind of garish and ghastly, as the name suggests, but I think it's really adorable. And I don't normally go for bright colors, but for some reason I feel like this one works for me. It's like an off-white gray, I want to say, the base color. But this is a pattern that I purchased from Joann Fabrics when they were having their sale the last time I went there. And this is, just take it out of the plastic baggie because I store all of my pattern pieces in large Ziploc bags. But here's the pattern. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. It's Butterick B4443. And I wrote some notes up there that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I made, what is it? Version C without the tie. So, yeah. And, yeah, I guess I'll just show it to you what it looks like in all its glory. So I put a belt on it, but otherwise it's just a plain seam around the waist. And it's, let me see, it has princess seams, and I don't know if you can tell, it is a little bunch, like, there is a little extra fabric up here, and I will be honest, I did not do a muslin for this. I was just so determined to sew something for myself, and I know, like, if I do this, it's fine, like, because it's cotton, it doesn't lie flat against my chest. It just kind of, you know, if I do anything, it just kind of bunches out a little bit, and I have a little slack back here. But, you know, if I'm wearing a cardigan over it for the winter and fall, I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, mauve lining, guys. I could not be more stoked about this. I love this dress so much, even though it's not like perfect. It's not a perfect fit, but yeah, again, if I wear a cardigan over, it's fine. The back, here's the back, invisible zipper, and yeah, so, yeah, so I really, I love this dress. I have been wearing it since I've made it, and yeah, I think if I were to make this dress again, obviously I would do some pattern adjustments to it, but the one adjustment that I did do to it, because the finished garment measurement said that, you know, I would have a 26 and a half inch waist, and then a 34, what did it say? A 34 and a half inch bust. So a little trick that I did, that I don't know if any of you do this at all, but I just kind of, I don't know, winged it a little bit. Again, I was just so determined to sew something, I didn't care how it turned out. I just know that I've usually had a lot of luck with Butterick patterns and McCall's patterns. Like, their sizing is usually on point with me. But what I did was, normally seam allowances, normally with these types of patterns, the seam allowance is generally about 5/8 of an inch. But knowing that I wanted to kind of take it in like more of a 1/2 inch, instead of doing a 5/8 seam allowance, I took it up to a 6/8 seam allowance. A 6/8, wow, whoa, cannot talk. A 6/8 seam allowance. So that will kind of take like a little that obviously that takes off like a 1/8 inch off the actual seam allowance, or adds like another 1/8 of an inch to the given seam allowance. So it takes it in ever so slightly, because the pattern, like the finished garment measurements, are so close to mine that it just kind of makes sense. And it did, like, you know, the waist fits perfectly, and again, it's a little bit bustier, a little bit looser in the bust, so I think going forward I'm definitely going to have to finagle it a little bit, maybe do obviously like a small bust adjustment. you know, and there's a way to do that with princess seams. I just have to investigate. So yeah, that's a lot of rambling and babbling, but yeah, I was hoping just for like a relaxing sew, and this kind of turned out to be a little bit more involved, even though, again, it says easy, which you should never trust a pattern, you know, even though a pattern generally says it's easy. I will say, basically, if you are comfortable doing princess seams, it is a relatively easy construction, but I was having a little bit of trouble with the princess seams this time around. I don't know why. Normally it's a no-brainer for me. I don't have trouble, maybe because I added that extra 1/8 of an inch seam allowance to the given seam allowance. It made handling the fabric a little bit more wonky, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I struggled with it a little bit, but after I got past the princess seams, it was all fine and dandy. So yeah, I could definitely see myself making another one. Maybe I will lower the neckline just a smidge, because honestly, except for the Anna dress, I'm not a huge fan of just like having my whole chest covered, because it's a lot of pattern, a lot of print, and it kind of feels a little busy, but you know, you throw in a necklace or something and call it a day. But anyway, so yeah, that is sewing for this week. I do have plans to make my skirt out of chiffon that I cut out all the pattern pieces for it. My fabric store reopened. They came back from holiday and I purchased some thread from there. So that will be in the works, I guess, maybe after I'm done recording this. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, I think that is it for sewing. And then, oh, I wanted to talk about, when I was talking about what else I wanted to cast on, because I do have to cast on another pair of socks. Granted, I have some other half, you know, hoe socks, like half objects, half finished pairs of socks that I have to work on. But for some reason, this one skein is calling out to me. And this is a skein by Sharon, who I mentioned earlier. She started dyeing yarn recently, and she has the Knit Style podcast, and then she also started Knit Style Yarns. And I purchased this from her when, you know, one of her very first shop updates. And I just have to cast this on like immediately. I think it wants to be either another pair of Mercury socks or something cable-y. I think I can get away with something cable-y, but yeah, even it just has like this really subtle like peachy base and then subtle speckles of like teal and green. It's just really beautiful. And this is her chic base, her chic sock base, which is 80% merino and 20% nylon, in her Fallen Fairy colorway, which again is beautiful. So I think this will be cast on next. So yay, awesome. Okay, so moving along. Shop update. I will be having a shop update this Saturday. It's the last Saturday of the month, so that means international friendly shop update. Yay! So it's Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can make it. I did have some yarn left over from the trunk show, believe it or not, I did. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. I'm not gonna show all of the colorways because there are kind of like, it's like a mixed grab bag of different colorways, but if you're familiar, I'll just rattle off the names right now. I have some Stellar Banshee, I have some Pandora, Fig Bash, lots of Fig Bash left over. I have some I Am No Bird and quite a few skeins of Jilted Rose left over. And I have one skein of Enjoy the Silence, and yeah, and Yarn Pimp X, which is the colorway I dyed for D-Unit, which will be a regular in the shop going forward, so yay. But then I do have some holiday colorways that I dyed up for Saturday's update and some other fun shades. So here in my magical Boxo yarn basket, I have a basket of yarn, guys. I will have some Harpsichord, which I thought was a really fun, like, you can mix and match this with anything. It's just such like a fun, festive, golden yellow colorway. I will have that on a couple of bases. I will have some special Snowflake. I will also have some Deck the Halls. And then I will also have some Mooncusser, because I did dye up some Mooncusser for the trunk show, which I said I wasn't going to be dyeing until the following Halloween, but I did dye up some for the trunk show just in case, and then I did have some left over. So these will be going into the shop because I don't want them hanging around until next year. I don't think anybody would want, yeah, you don't want them sitting around. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put these in the shop. This was my mystery Halloween skein, and the color is Mooncusser. So I have, this is on Narwhal, and then I have one on Blitzed. There's that. And then, yeah, here's my Yarn Pimp X colorway that I showed off last week, and this is the colorway I dyed that was inspired by Do You Knit. So there's that. And then I have a new holiday colorway that I dyed up yesterday, and for some reason it was, you know, I was just playing around the dye pot, and then, but once it was all dyed and I looked at it, it actually reminded me of something called Bûche de Noël, which is a Christmas log, which is a dessert. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but here's the colorway. And yeah, it's basically a very dense cake, just, you know, with it's a roll, it looks like a log. It's just a rolled, a very dense flourless cake, with very sweet, very sugary, very popular during the holidays. But yeah, as the French call it, it's called Bûche de Noël. And yeah, it just has this really shiny pop of green in here, and it just has like a really lovely brown kind of chocolatey base that's highly speckled. And this is it on my blitzed base. And I have another, let me see, another skein of it on Footsie, so you can see it. And I made the horrible mistake of saying just Bûche Noël, which I look, because I think languages are just so beautiful, and you know, whenever I attempt to name something in a different language, be it German or French, or, you know, Spanish or what have you, 9 out of 10, I always end up butchering it. And no matter how many times I look it up online for the correct translation, I always end up butchering it. And of course, this one I first called it Bûche Noël until somebody kindly corrected me, very nicely and politely corrected me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed. But I really genuinely appreciate it when people do that. So please do not feel bad if I misspell something, or I just have a really wonderful habit of doing that a lot. So thank you whenever you correct me. But yeah, so Bûche de Noël will be in the shop on Saturday. I love it. I'm tempted to cast on a pair for Dennis, even though he doesn't celebrate Christmas, but I feel like it could be for any holiday really, because, you know, I don't know, it's just got pops of green in it, and it's kind of like almost like a manly colorway in itself. So I think he would like a pair of these. I don't know, I could be totally wrong. I'll ask him, see what he thinks. But yeah, I thought it would be a really fun colorway. So there's that. And then I dyed up a whole bunch of one-of-a-kinds. Not a whole bunch, but quite a few one-of-a-kinds. Because I feel like these past 2 weeks I've just been dyeing all of my regular colorways, and my brain just needed to be free, if that makes any sense. So I dyed up some, you know, pretty fun shades that I think you guys will like. So there's this one. I haven't named it yet, but it's just this really cool bright green with flecks of blue, and just really fun different shades in there. I have this one, which is really bright, very unseasonal actually, but you know, if you're looking for that pop of color, this skein definitely has that. So yeah, there's that one. And then I dyed up another one that's somewhere in here. Did I include it? Ooh, where'd you go? Ah, here's this one. So very similar to Yarn Pimp X, but yeah, it's got some variation in there. Yeah, just kind of seeing, you know, what different colors, different dyes would do with each other. And yeah, you get some really neat effects. So yeah, so I hope you can make it. Again, the shop update will be on Saturday, November 26th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, looking forward to that. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm going to move along to Blather, where I chat about what's been going on in my life. Should you care to stick around, because yeah, this week in the States, it is, let me put this below here, so on the way, okay. So this week in the States, it will be Thanksgiving tomorrow, which is Thursday. And as I mentioned, Dennis and I are going down to visit our, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Dennis's brother, and his wife. We're gonna go visit them, see our niece and nephew, and eat lots of food. And I cannot wait, because we haven't seen them in a while. So it'll be it should be a really fun time. And I am going to be making a dessert that I made last year that turned out really well. It was really popular. Everyone loved it. So I don't know, they told me they loved it. So I'm going to be making it again. And it's from the Smitten Kitchen. And it's called, and it's her pear, cranberry, and gingercrap. Gingercrap. Anyway. I've been talking for way too long already, and I can feel it in my throat. But anyway, it's the Smitten Kitchen's pear, cranberry, and ginger snap crumble. So I bought some pears yesterday. We have some cranberries. My mother-in-law gifted us a whole, as she does every year, a whole bag of cranberries. And yeah, so those will be going into the crumble. I bought some ginger snaps, and I think I just have to go around the corner and get some butter, and we're gold. And I will be doing that tomorrow morning. So we're actually spending the night in Philly. They're in Pennsylvania, but they live very close to Philly, and I feel like every year this has become Dennis and like our tradition. We go over to their place for Thanksgiving, and then we spend the night in Philly and then bum around the Philly area, because I really enjoy Philly. I think it's a really fun city. There's just so much going on. They have a lot of culture, museums. Last year we went to the Mutter Museum, which was really awesome. It's kind of like, they have like all these obscure medical obscurities, and just really interesting if you're into that type of thing. So this year, I think we're probably gonna check out some new museums that we haven't checked out yet. The food is really good, so I'm a huge fan of a lot of restaurants that they have down there. And then yeah, we're gonna come back home, and then I think just spend the weekend, relax, and do nothing. It's gonna be glorious. I'm gonna put up the tree finally. So I ordered some new ornaments. As I mentioned, I have our biggest Christmas tree that we've ever had. I think it's gonna be, some people it might not be that big, but it's about 6 feet tall, I wanna say, and it's white. So I have the pink lights. The pink lights have arrived. I ordered some more ornaments. And the tree topper came. Very excited. I'm going to try and vlog me assembling the tree and putting it together. Excuse me. So I'm going to try and vlog that, which I should also mention, Vlogmas is coming up. This is going to be my, I know I'm totally jumping around, but Vlogmas is when you just vlog every day in the month of November. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna, I've never done this before, but I'm gonna try and do it, do a daily vlog. Call me crazy, but I'm gonna try and make it happen. But yeah, anyway, very excited about that. Stay tuned. But yes, I'm going to do a vlog on the Christmas tree assembly. And what else is happening? We are getting a new sofa this weekend. Hashtag adulting. Yes. Dennis and I have had, I want to say like 2 or 3 sofas during the course of our relationship. Our very first sofa, I want to say, was, well, it was our very first sofa. It was from IKEA, like you do. And it was there, if you've ever gone to IKEA, it's literally that small gray sofa, the one that's super tiny. We literally rolled it up in a box to our apartment that we first had together. And yeah, it was really uncomfortable, really cheapo, but it served us well. And then we had another one that we had, you know, once we got rid of that one, we realized it just wasn't working out. We found one off Craigslist, which served its purpose. It was a nice, comfortable sofa. And then we moved into our other apartment, and we got another IKEA sofa. It was a nice black faux leather one, which we still have. But we realized it's leather, it's not that comfortable, and whenever we watch TV on it, you know, he wants to lie down, I want to lie down, and we're doing like the footsie thing where we're kind of, you know, wrestling, like, give me, like, I need more space. I need more space. You've been through that. You know, anyone who's been through that can relate, right? So we did some adulting a couple weekends ago, and we went to Macy's and bought ourselves a nice comfy sofa. It has a little chaise, what do you call it? One of those, it's like an L-shaped sofa where it's like a regular sofa, but then it has like one of those on one side, you can like stretch out with your legs. So I think they call that a chaise extension or something. But anyway, so that will be coming this weekend. We cannot wait to finally have our own space on the sofa. So, but yeah, and then I'm trying to think what else. I think that's it. Yeah, we've got some, you know, eventful stuff happening in our lives, and otherwise, yeah, just the same old stuff, watching Westworld like we do. I started watching a new show that I found, I forgot where I think Refinery 29, which is a really cool lifestyle blog website, they recommended some new shows on Netflix, or old shows on Netflix as well, but there's one show that they recommended called The Returned, and I want to say it's kind of like The Leftovers, if you're familiar with that show, but the opposite, where in The Leftovers, people on the same day just disappear for no unexpected reason. They just vanish, and nobody can explain why, how it happens. But in The Returned, people that have died on the same day, they just come back. Yeah, they come back as if life was normal, and then their families have since moved, like it's several years after they've passed away. Like the families have already moved on, gotten over their death, but then suddenly their dearly departed have returned, and it's a really good show. I'm totally hooked. So I'm probably gonna watch some more of that later on. I'm taking the rest of the day off. I've been working my booty off, so I think I deserve a little, you know, I said, you know, when I got from the weekend, I said I was gonna take Monday off. No, I didn't. I worked over the weekend as well, and I need some downtime. I think I'm taking the rest of today over once this is up and uploaded, and then I think Monday and Tuesday I'm definitely going to just give myself some well-deserved downtime to just craft. I'm taking a craftcation. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I need to do it, otherwise I'm just gonna go batty. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Because it's Thanksgiving, I just want to say that I am so grateful that for anybody who checks out my podcasts and watches and subscribes and comments and lets me know how much they're enjoying the podcast. I am so grateful and thankful that you choose to watch my podcast. And I know a lot of other podcasts say this, but you know, there are so many other podcasts out there, yet you choose to watch this one. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating. Warm wishes to you and your family. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. And yeah, just get to spend time with family, loved ones, friends, and just craft your heart out. So anyway, okay, happy knitting. I will see you next time. Bye.